Hello and good evening. Welcome back. Glad you made it. It's a social production, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining me once again. Good to be alive and kicking. What day is today? It is October the 1st, 2025. Thank you for joining me once again. Wherever you're tuning in from, whether it's Canada, mi familias, down south in the United States of America, more of mi familias, further down south, Mexico, over there, South America, Europe, Asia, Africa, Antarctica, Papua New Guinea, New Zealand, Australia, Botswana, Vietnam, over there in Zimbabwe, over there in Serbia, over there in Portugal, over there in France, in Finland, the Scandinavians, the Greenland people, the Greenlandic people, the Icelandic people, all around the world. Underwater, overwater, somewhere in between. Thank you for joining me. It's that time of year, baby. It is October. The leaves are changing colors. Your color is the same, which is good. Unless you got jaundice or you got some sort of undiscovered disease and you're changing color, which milk it for a while until it causes you severe problems, then see a medical professional. Until then, get on TikTok, make a video with your skin color that's always changing. But nonetheless, that's neither here or there. Thank you for joining me. Let me get a sip of this bad boy. We're out here, we're outside, it's a beautiful day. Why don't we just come to the garden? Why don't we just come to the park for a minute? Kick it with the folks in nature. Why not? Let's just get right into it. Lots of fun to be had today, ladies and gentlemen. I'll say this. If you're like me and you like to greet people and say hello and maybe shake a hand, but you're like, oh, shaking hands is so 2020, it's prior COVID. Shaking hands is, what is this, the 90s? Why are we shaking hands? It's a little bit much, too much skin to skin contact, unknown territories. Who knows what people are holding in the palm of their hands? It could be dirty. It could be that they went to the bathroom and never washed up. It could be that they just yerked off and never washed up. It could be that they just finger fucked somebody or finger fucked themselves and never washed up. So saying hello via shaking hands is out, and you want a replacement. That's why I'm here. I listen to the people. I care about what the people want, and I just come up with solutions to different problems, if you will. So if you're like me and you're like, oh, I don't want to shake hands anymore, I'd rather do something that's a little bit less intimate. Glad you made it to today's show, and thank you for all the love and support. So let's just get right into it. What is a solution to the old handshake? The old lick and flick. The old lick and flick, ladies and gentlemen. If shaking hands is too intimate for your liking, if it's too invasive, if it's too up in your grill, too much in your space, I suggest you opt out of shaking hands and instead choose to lick and flick. That's right, I'm talking licking puss and flicking testicles, aka balls. So instead of meeting somebody, whether it's a family member, whether it's a friend, whether it's a colleague, a superior, an inferior, somebody who's on the same level as you in the corporate ladder, that is, if you're about to shake their hands, opt for licking and flicking their genitals. That's right. If it's female, lick their puss. All right? Hello, go for the licky lick on the puss. Instead of the time-consuming handshake, which is, again, at times too invasive, too familiar for some people's liking. Where is this coming from? We barely even know each other. Why are we touching palm to palm, sir, madam? So instead of that, go ahead and lick the puss. One lick, and there you go. You have a beautiful greeting, which allows you to engage in any sort of conversation, whether it be just, common chit-chat, catching up, water cooler talk, elevator chit-chat, catching up, business, pleasure, whatever it may be. A simple lick to the puss will allow you to introduce yourselves and forgo the awkward, time-consuming, outdated greeting, which was the handshake. So please opt for the lick of the puss instead of shaking the hand. Far more sanitary than shaking hands, because you never know. People might be outside touching handrails, touching buttons, turning doorknobs, touching handles. Oh, all of it could be too much. Instead of that, opt for licking the old puss and say hello via licking genitals. If it's a fella you don't want to lick, I suggest go for the flick. Flick the nuts and say hello in that manner. Instead of shaking someone's hand who you don't know, opt for the old lick and flick. Introduce yourselves. If you've already been introduced, then go ahead and do the old lick and flick and get your day going. Do not waste time on thinking about, I wonder where their hands have been. I wonder where my hands have been, for that matter. Because who can keep up with everything that you've got going on in your life? So again, it's far cleaner, way less time consuming, not as familiar as some people like to think it, because that's what it is. A handshake is just like, oh, what are we doing? We might as well just, move in together. We might as well just, I didn't know we were about to get married. I didn't know we were about to, merge companies. A handshake is a little bit outdated, and that's me listening to the people. So go ahead. If it's a lady, lick the clit, hello, engage in combo. If it's a fella, flick the nuts. If this isn't for everybody, especially in the business world, men's mostly, if you're not comfortable with I'm not saying go out there and lick the balls and introduce you. That's why we introduced the flicking technique. You go there, simple flick to the nuts, hello. We're in it now. We're about to talk business. And that's how you get your day going. So forego the awkward handshake. How long do you even hold on to somebody's palm? Is it a second? Is it a millisecond that you walk away, you're like, oh, that handshake felt weird. Way too fast. I wonder if I left a good impression. What are they thinking? Man, this guy really, really quick handshake. I know what I'm thinking about this guy. Now you're all in your head. Next time you go in to shake a hand, you're grabbing their hand and you're not letting go for 5 seconds, 10 seconds. It's been an hour and 45 minutes. You're still shaking hands. How many times have people glitched in real time, real life? I forgot what they were even doing because shaking hands took too long. It's been 27 hours you're shaking hands. When do you let go? These social norms are, of course, never taught. Instead, we just go along happily thinking that it's okay because our forefathers and foremothers, that's the way they did it. So we must just simply cut, copy, paste, repeat. There's a new method. Ditch the handshake. Go for the old lick and flick. You're welcome. I hope that eases everybody's minds. And again, it is the beginning of the month, so make that change. Don't put it off to I'll just start with a new habit and New Year's resolution. I'll get a new greeting, then you'll say, it's too late. Little baby steps now will go a long way. And you'll see the change that you wanted in your life. You're welcome out there. A lot of people are, of course, thinking, oh man, I've got a lot to overcome. And life can be challenging, yes. It could be fun, it's beautiful, it's lovely, full of ups and downs and surprises, of various kinds, that is. But many people out there, depending on whichever stage of life you're in, will come across some obstacles and challenges that they have to overcome. Is there a method to overcome challenges that's easily applied to everyday obstacles and challenges, everyday tasks, whether it's tiny, minimal, or large and grand at scale? Step 1, identify the obstacle that's ahead of you, whatever the task may be. Washing the dishes. Challenge. Obstacle. How do I overcome this? Washing of the dishes. Whether you're doing it manually or via machine, I recommend to, again, observe the situation, identify the problem or the obstacle, come up with a solution by overcoming it. Let's take the dishes, for example. Pile of dishes are sitting there in the sink. You want to overcome that. Simply step up to the pile of dishes. Grab yourself a stepping stool or a chair. You want to make sure that you can actually ejaculate over the said dishes, hence overcoming your obstacle. You're like, I don't have a stepping stool. Climb on the counter and start either female ejaculating and or male ejaculating, i.e. jizzing over the dishes, hence overcoming your problem, which are the dishes. You're like, oh, my college professor just gave me an assignment. How do I overcome this research project? Identify the obstacle, identify the task at hand, whether it's books, whether it's paper, whether it's your laptop or your cell phone that you're using. Place all the items that are at your disposal on a flat surface, whether it be a table or simply on the ground. Step over said items. Start ejaculating over them, hence overcoming said obstacles. And again, that's cell phones, laptops, papers. If a friend is happening to, if they happen to be helping you out with the assignment, maybe your teammates. You're like, what about work? What about work assignments? Use the same method. If you are at the office and you need to overcome a challenge, identify the problem, lay it out on your table at work. Stand over it, whether on a chair or simply standing on your 2 feet. Jerk off and or flick the bean and ejaculate, hence overcoming the problem. Inflation is a bitch. Yes, it is, isn't it? It is, certainly is for a lot of people. Lay out some money on a table or the floor and simply ejaculate all over it, hence overcoming inflation. Marital problems, get your wife or your husband. Now, some people might want to go see a professional, whether it be some people might want to do it themselves. You just want to chit chat. Lay out your problems one at a time. Take turn and come all over your spouse, hence overcoming your problems. These, my friends, are a few simple methods to which you could use in order to overcome any problems. Now, is it gonna be one and done? No. Challenges are ongoing. Life itself is a challenge, hence its beauty. Do not think I'm just gonna overcome this one thing once and it's all said and done, it's all behind me. It's all in the past now that I've overcome this particular challenge or issue that I'm facing. Overcoming means getting in there and doing it over and over. You're like, I'm feeling dry right now. Give yourself some time. Stay hydrated. Lay out your problems. Come all over them. Hence, overcoming your problems and your obstacles. You're welcome out there. Of course, everybody's lives are different. I'm not going to tell you what your problems, what your issues, what your challenges and obstacles are. You know yourself very well what they are. Lay them out and come all over them. Hence, overcoming challenges and problems. You're welcome. It is winter time, or at least it's around the corner. It's fall/winter. It's getting there, little by little. I felt the temperature actually drop this morning. As soon as we stepped into October, got out this morning, it's brisk. In the morning, it's brisk. Now it's nice. The sun is out, it's nice and warm, it's cozy. But it is that season, and it's blanket season. What does that mean? For the general public, that means when you're about to go to bed or when you're snuggling by your lover on the couch watching Netflix, Hulu, Disney Plus, Amazon Prime, whatever, ESPN, cable TV if anybody still has that. Whatever you're watching, doesn't matter. Maybe you're even reading a book. Oh, what's this? A hand over your shoulder. Your lover is indicating that things are about to get heated. Things are about to get messy. Things are about to get sloppy. But you don't want to remove the blanket that's providing you warmth and comfort. But you still want to give them sloppy toppy. How do you do that? Oh, I don't know. Let's take a trip down memory lane. In the olden days, people used to get caught up between the blanket. Oh, I want to give sloppy toppy to my lover. I want to go down on her. I want to eat that puss out and make her come. But the blanket is all over us. And what are we to do? Remove the blanket, hence removing the heat source? What good is that? You just warmed up for half an hour. Now you're going to remove the heat source? Buzzkill. Total nightmare. Sure. She might be close to climax, but she's also close to hypothermia. Millions of people have died because of early blanket removal. This is why I decided to create a blanket that's made for sloppy toppy, the sloppy toppy blanket. A blanket made for sloppy toppy. It's a regular blanket, but we took our time, we did the research, we looked at the dimensions, we even partnered up with NASA, or at least we tried. We wrote them letters, they didn't reply, but nonetheless, this is a partnership. After countless hours, countless days, months, years, we came up with the hole in the blanket. That's right. Our patented design will provide you with a blanket with a hole right in the center, large enough for any genital to peek through, enabling your partner to go down on you without actually having to remove the blanket, hence sloppy toppy blankets. That's right. Forget about removing the blanket and feeling that cold, cold breeze of fall and winter. Oh, I'm getting the chills just thinking about it. Who even wants sloppy toppy in these temperatures, you'll say? How many times have people said sloppy toppy? Let me check out the weather network. Oh, it's feeling a little bit too cool for my liking. Maybe next summer, maybe next spring. By then, who knows what has happened to your beautiful relationship. But thanks to sloppy toppy blankets, you can now place the blankets with the scientifically designed hole in the center, allowing you to go down on your partner and suck that cock without actually having to remove the blanket. The hole will allow the puss and or the cock to pop out right in the center of the blanket and allow you to go to work. No more hands and feet freezing, no more hypothermia, no more shivers, no more shakes. And this could be used in your home. This could be used in your car. If you're traveling, instead of taking a regular blanket with you, take the sloppy toppy blanket with you. And again, allow yourself to get caught up in those moments. Feel the love instead of saying, you know what, we'll wait till we get to, the hotel room. We'll wait till, forget about it. Put the sloppy toppy blanket over yourself and your partner, wherever you may be, and engage in fellatio. Give that good sloppy toppy anywhere you like without ever having to get cold. You're welcome, everybody. You're welcome. I think about a lot of people out there, a lot of people who are engaging in beautiful activities on a daily basis, but maybe they like to mix it up a little bit, such as scissoring for my lesbians. A lot of time people have told lesbians or have said to lesbians, hey, while you're scissoring out there, sisters, maybe you shouldn't be scissoring while scissoring. I'm talking about arts and crafts. I'm talking about grabbing a pair of scissors and scissoring while you're scissoring. People have said that. This wasn't tested. This wasn't actually, nobody took this to the streets. Nobody took it to the lab to test it out. And so we had to ask the question, has anyone even done this? Has anyone really asked, is it safe to scissor while scissoring? I took that time. I did the research. I went out there and found out that indeed, despite what you hear out on the streets and on the internet, it is completely safe for lesbians to scissor while scissoring. So go ahead and grab that sharp scissors, the pair of scissors that you've got in your drawer. Whether it's for arts and crafts, whether it's for dicing and mincing vegetables, whether it's for opening up letters from the Department of Electricity or the government or your cell phone bill, with that pair of scissors, that one, grab that one. If you're a lesbian, that is. And once you've engaged in scissoring, that's when labia, I do have to, I'm just going to assume we're all learning together. And that's scissoring for those of you who, in case anybody doesn't know, in case there are potential alien species learning from us by observing, scissoring to my fellow humans, my fellow animals out there, also the aliens who might be learning and observing. What is this activity that females or a pair of females tend to do sometimes once they remove the panties and have clasped their vagina on top of one another's and started to grind and just rub clit to clit? What is that? That's called scissoring. And people have always wondered, is it okay to conduct scissoring while scissoring. A lot of people are like, don't mix sharp objects with lovemaking sessions. It's too dangerous. Too dangerous for whom? Too dangerous for whom is what we should have asked. So please, don't listen to the naysayers. Sure, I'm sure somebody out there may have cut themselves accidentally and or on purpose during scissoring. And that's why we've heard the old propaganda, the old dogmatic point of view that no, everybody should abstain from scissoring while scissoring. Where I trust that if you're a grown adult, you can chew and spit and suck and swallow at the same time. You could, what's that saying? You could spit and swallow at the same time. It might require a little bit of like practice because one's going out, the other one's like coming in. But spitting and swallowing can be, because you've heard that saying, oh, I bet he or she could spit and swallow at the same time. Gargling, that's the precursor. You should probably gargle a little bit before spitting and swallowing. But the point is that you could do two things at the same time. So grab a pair of scissors, a sharp pair of scissors, and while you're grinding labia to labia, clit to clit, vulva to vulva, uterus to uterus, fallopian tube to fallopian tube, syncing cycles, as we say on the streets, and start scissoring while scissoring, ladies and gentlemen. You're welcome out there. That's some people, you need to hear it from. I needed to hear from myself. As a matter of fact, I encourage you to just take it up a notch a little bit, Why should you only be scissoring while scissoring? You like fencing? Everybody does, of course. One of the most popular sports out there, fencing. Give your lesbian lover a sword, a nice sword, and start fencing while scissoring. The sharper the object, the higher the intensity, the better the climax. Could I be doing welding while I'm scissoring? Of course you could be doing welding while you're scissoring. Again, let's remember, one can spit and swallow at the same time. We're all adults here at the end of the day, midday, beginning of the day, early in the day. We're all adults. Could I use my blender to make some juice for after the scissoring, while scissoring? Of course you could. Of course you could. A lot of people have been told not to. But why do we have to go about our business based on statistics and the lowest common denominator? Challenge yourselves. Live life to the fullest. Scissor while scissoring. What else is going on in and around the world? What a beautiful day, ladies and gentlemen. I should just say this. It's 10, 12 degrees. The sun is out. I actually love this weather. Fall is, again, one of my favorites. One of my other favorites, spring. One of my other favorites, summer. And my other favorite, winter, of course. 4 of my favorite seasons. What else is going on in and around the world? I believe let's take a trip over to Italy, shall we? Let's take a little trip to Italy. Recently, I've heard that Italian pasta grannies in southern Italy have come across a little bit of a problem, and together we're going to overcome this said problem. These beautiful grannies, these beautiful nonas, if you will, tend to make a little bit of scratch, tend to make a little bit of change from tourists who happen to visit their beautiful city in southern Italy. How, you ask? By making homemade pasta. A special kind of pasta, which I forget the name. It doesn't matter. Let's just call it pasta. A handmade pasta. They open their homes, they open their doors, and as tourists come by, these Italian grannies make Italian homemade pasta and sell it to the tourists and make a little bit of cha-ching on the side. And this has been going on for some time, and it's beautiful. But unfortunately, as of late, we've been collectively running into some issues, some problems. Some narcs out there have alleged that some of the grannies are actually using store-bought pasta to sell to the tourists. Now, They want to crack down on the grannies and make sure that the pasta is originally handmade and the labor that went into it is pure Italian nonna, sweat, blood, tears, you know, vaginal juice. They want these grannies working essentially. And they're saying, hey, if you're going to be selling handmade pasta to tourists, make sure it's handmade. I do like things being in their authentic state, in their original state, if you will. If you say something is what it is, I do like that. But also, we are talking about grannies. Sure, maybe back in the day, maybe in the 70s and the 80s, maybe even the 90s or the 2000s. But the number of tourists, it was feasible for the grannies to actually make all the needed pasta by hand. But times have changed. The world is getting both larger and smaller at the same time. People are traveling more, people are coming and going more. And maybe there's been an uptick in tourists who are visiting these beautiful cities all around the world. And this one happens to be in southern Italy. So when the grannies are making pasta, sure, they could have made pasta for 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 100 people maybe even. But once the numbers start going a little bit bigger, once they start to go a little bit higher, it's not reasonable to ask these grandmas, these beautiful nonnas, to make all the pasta by hand. So you're going out there, and of all the things you could narc on and, you know, come down on, going after beautiful nonnas. I just want to make a little pasta for the poor tourists. I want to get them to mangia a little bit. They coming after me, they telling me my pasta is no good, I don't make it with my hands. I say I make it with my hands most of the time. Sometimes I don't have time to make the pasta with the hands. Capiche? They'll say that. And local authorities will hear them out, and they'll be jotting down notes. Granny Mancini over here is admitting to making some of the pasta with her hands, but maybe times when it's high request, she's actually going and getting the store-bought pasta. And they're coming down, and I don't know what they're doing, but they want to impede on her business. And to that I say, fugazzi, ragaguzzi. I hope that translates in Italian. Ragaguzzi, ragazzi, fattori, maratututuzzi. A tuzzi, a fruzzi, a paracini, e caguz. Ratatata. And that translates not just in Italian, but I think that phrase itself is a global phrase for back off the grandma's grills, all right? These beautiful grannies don't need to be making all the pasta by hand. It's more the experience, all right? If they tell you it's handmade, take it, put it down your face hole, take the pictures, reminisce when you get back to your local hometown and say, my, what a wonderful time we had in Italy eating those handmade Italian pastas by grandmas with two hands. My, I can still taste it. It's the entire experience rather than focusing on what is and what isn't. Pasta is pasta at the end of the day. Yes, sure. Is the handmade one a slightly better pasta? Probably. But think of the grandmother who is 1,574 and a half years old. She can't feed all the fatties using only her 2 hands and 2 feet. She's received from probably, the Catholic Church. So be a little bit lenient. Think of your business next time when people come and ask questions of any sort, really. In order to combat this, I suggest we crack down on these narcs and the authority figures who are going after the Italian pasta grannies, pasta nonnas. We've got to make an example. If a few people need to disappear and start sleeping with the fishes, so be it. Tony Tulips needs to perhaps pay a visit to your doorsteps and or business and just drop by or maybe check in, all right? Somebody's car needs to perhaps go kaplui upon insertion of the key into the ignition, then so be it. I'm just saying, if somebody's kneecaps need to be taken out in order for business to continue, for grandmothers, for nonas, okay? For extremely soft nonas. I'm talking bodily soft. You know how nonas be, squishy and soft and shit. Like miniature, or rather, large dough gals, if you will. So I've made my peace with it. If, again, people need to go away for a little bit of time and perhaps get into witness protection, then so be it. If messages need to be sent out, so be it. And I didn't want it to come to this, but when push comes to shove, agagutsa paragutsia, hey, camarón. All right? So actions have consequences. You can't be going out and targeting nonas. We got to get back to common sense. Should you go to your business upon returning home and find that your business is, burnt down to a crisp, then maybe perhaps it sends a little message that to think about your actions before going out after nonas and grandmothers who are making pasta. Eat it up! It's just pasta. Okay? That's just my personal opinion. Of course, others may agree or disagree. Leave a comment if you like. Don't leave a comment if you like. Otherwise, it's just something that I was thinking about and thought that I should share it with you, beautiful folks of the world out there. Let us take a trip to beautiful New York. New York! New York! It's another day in New York. It's another day really everywhere. It's not just New York, but this particular story happened in New York. New York happened to take place in New York. Talking about orange lobsters, or an orange lobster rather, just one. One was found in a New York supermarket by an individual whose name I forget at this moment, but it doesn't matter. The point is, the story is about an orange lobster. 1 in a 30 million catch, apparently. Hard to come by. Most lobsters are red, and if they're orange, they're probably dead, or they have some diseases, leprosy, they say, or Huntington's disease, one of those two. But some beautiful individual saw this orange lobster in a New York supermarket and decided to take matters into his own hands and free the rare lobster. That's 1 in a 30 million, they say. Freed the lobster in a body of water. It was a whole mission. You had to go get seawater or salt water, I don't know. Carry the lobster. Dump the lobster. Becomes a whole thing. It was a mission and a half. I heard this story and I'm like, this is a little bit, is one lobster superior to 30 other lobsters for the sake of the shade of its body color? For its dermis color? What kind of society do we live in where we decide a particular species of lobster as average lobsters all day, every day, doing their thing, and then every once in a while another one comes that's slightly lighter, slightly different, and we particularly identify that one and say, you know what, it's rare, it doesn't happen to 1 in 30 million, and sure, that may even be the case, but all the other lobsters, they were happily gathered in a tank at a supermarket, waiting to be fetched and eventually prepared for our delight and pleasures. Whereas this orange lobster, got away. Who knows what the fate of this orange lobster really is? Will it go back to the sea? How will it face its community of lobsters? "What are you doing back here, John? We thought you got caught up in the net like the others did." And he'll say, "Oh yeah, I did get caught up in the net like the others did, and I was entrapped. I was caught up in a whole mess. 50,000 of us. They caught us all at once. I don't know what the numbers are, but they caught us all at once. It was crazy. There's Larry, Johnny, Timmy, Gah! Johnny was screaming. He was the first to go. He was a good lobster. And the other lobsters in the sea are now asking questions. Well, how did you manage to get out? How did you manage to get loose? Because we've heard the stories. First is the capturing, then is the relocation, getting put into dark trucks and sent all over the place, and then ending up in somebody's restaurant eventually. We've heard the stories, and then we get boiled alive, and people just shove us in their face holes, and they enjoy us, and we are delicious, and we take pride in that. But how did you get loose? And they'll ask that, and the poor orange lobster will now have to explain. You gotta understand, it's been a mix-up. It's not like I wanted to come back. I wanted to stay with the men and some of the women. But they handpicked me. Oh, Mr. Handpicked over here. He thinks he's so special. Next thing you know, the other lobsters are teaming up on the orange lobster, giving him a nice firm beating, kicking him in the shin. Oh, gnawing at his shell, gnawing, picking with their claws, just like, oh, let me just pick at you with my claws. They'll say that, and they will, and they'll maybe gouge one of his eyes. Now he's lost one eye. Now he's blind in one eye. Oh no! Now he's swimming around with one eye. Next thing you know, he finds his immediate nuclear family. Oh, so good to be back, sweetheart. He'll say that to his wife, Nancy, the lobster. Where were you? She'll ask. He'll say, didn't you hear? I got caught up in a net and ended up in a chamber, and we were about to get picked to be eaten and cooked and boiled, and it was a nightmare. And she'll say, then how'd you get back here then? And I'll say, they said I was special, and they handpicked me, and they selected me, and they tossed me back into the ocean. And meanwhile, she's been out here living life for 2 to 3 weeks, already seeing potential suitors, lovers, to mate with and to look after the children. And now all of a sudden comes Mr. Orange Lobster, Mr. Special. Everybody else went to the boiler room. He's out here just walking about. His wife leaves him eventually, of course. He starts drinking. That leads down to a dark path of hardcore drug use. He may have picked up a gambling habit along the way, because it's been difficult to try to explain to everybody that he had nothing to do with it, but they won't believe him, of course. How did you get out? While everybody else went to their untimely death. Isolated, outcasted by society. Walks around, one day he comes across a group of, just a bunch of, it's a gang of sharks. And they decide, you know what, although this orange lobster is not a big catch, it is still fun to eat him, but in tiny bits. And there's like 5 of these giant white sharks, black sharks, brown sharks, yellow sharks, all different sizes of sharks and colors of sharks. They surround this orange lobster and start chewing and chomping at every limb until there's nothing left but his head. And in that moment, he sees his body parts being swallowed up by different colors and different sized sharks. And it's a nightmare. And it's right then and there that he wished he could have just maybe perhaps not been selected to go back to the sea. This story, of course, the moral of the story is that friggin' lobsters, man, like the red ones get eaten all the time. Should we really select the orange one to get a taste of freedom. I don't know. If you like to, then do it. If not, it's a little bit I like equality. I like, discrimination here based on just a little bit, but that's how life works sometimes. So you know what? Here's to the orange lobster. His name was, I believe people named him. I like the name though, I gotta give it to them. The name was cute. It's a cute name. Jean-Claude Van Damme, as in Claude. Jean-Claude Van Damme. I do like that. He's dead now, because the sea is no picnic either, I'll say that. Can't wait till I get out there and stretch my claws. He said that to himself, not knowing what is waiting in the wet, wet world that is the sea. What else is going on in and around the world? Beautiful people. Sexy motherfuckers out there. It's gorgeous sons and daughters of bitches. I believe a gentleman was receiving brain surgery recently. And during the surgery, he decided to whip out his guitar and play the guitar while the surgeons were doing surgery on his brain. And I'd like to say that this act is, I don't know where it's going to lead to. I don't know the kind of message that it sends out to others. Now, the kiwi-sized tumor was removed from his brain, I believe, and I hope that everything went smoothly. But to say that you get to play the guitar while professional surgeons are surgerying on your brain is a little bit, I don't know how I feel about it. Because if we allow one man to play the guitar while receiving surgery, what's holding us back from other people performing all sorts of other tasks, playing other kinds of instruments while getting surgery? What's next? The triangle while getting your knee replaced? What's next? I gotta play the harp while you're doing acupuncture on me. People will say that. When do we say, hey, this is a professional setting, things need to be conducted in a professional manner? When do we say that we're just gonna play it fast and loose, bring in your instruments, strings, drums? What's next? Getting your root canal and deciding to do pottery at the same time, are we? Next thing you know, society starts falling apart. Next thing you know, businesses are opening up in the morning but taking siestas midday. Next thing you know, the economy starts to crumble. Next thing you know, people are all consumed by crypto and investing all their money in this non-fungible token that they know nothing about. Next thing you know, society shatters and falls before our eyes. Why? Because we decided to allow a man to play the guitar whilst receiving surgery on his brain. When does it stop? Or where does it start? Is this the beginning of a new world where surgeons have to now focus on patients who are not just laying there still but playing instruments? What's next? Could I get my dick sucked while I'm getting surgery? Could a lady get finger fucked? I mean, we just opened the door to this fella playing the guitar. What's stopping us? Next person who goes in brain surgery, could they give birth at the same time as well? Could you alleviate your body of fecal matter whilst receiving surgery? I don't know. Could you come up with a charcuterie board whilst getting surgery because you want to have the gang over for a little bit of chip and dip sesh for after the fact while you're getting surgery? These people went to school for like 75 years, millions of dollars in debt, and now they got to listen to your guitar. I'm just going to go out and do a little bit of programming and coding while you perform on my body. Thank you for saving my life, but no big deal. No, excuse me, just got to do a little bit of crocheting here while you do your surgery. It's a little bit, I don't know how I feel about it. I think I've made myself quite clear, but if others feel a different way, then let's just open up the gates. Then let's just say, why don't you bring your basketball and dribble a little bit? Why don't you juggle at the same time while you're at it? Why don't you read a book? Type that novel up. Why don't you tattoo somebody while you're getting started? You know, this is a slippery slope is all I'm saying. Innocent guitar playing or downfall of the Roman Empire as we know it. Ladies and gentlemen, something must be done. What else is going on in and around this beautiful planet? People have always had concerns about cock grip. That's right, cock grip. That is not just a topic that concerns men out there, but women as well out there. Because women, as much as want a cock that grips. But how do you get a cock that grips? What am I even talking about? A lot of times people want to use their cocks to grab onto something, get a little bit more friction so they can hold on to items, climb things, but they can't because their cocks are not pruny cocks. How do you get a pruny cock? Well, I looked at how we as a human species get pruny skin, and I noticed we get pruny skin when we're submerged in water, like going swimming or taking a bath or standing in the shower for like 10-15 minutes. All of a sudden you look at the palm of your hands, your feet might get a little pruny. Why does that happen? It's your skin contracting, becoming a little prune to provide you with more grip so you don't slip, so you can grip things more easily. Well, why should that just be for your fingers and your toes? Bringing the cock pruning to everybody by simply submerging your cock into a puss and leaving it in there for, according to my research, 2 to 3 hours will allow every cock to become pruny, hence allowing you to grip with your cock and not slip and do whatever you want with it, whether it's climbing buildings using your pruny cock, whether it is lifting heavy objects which you were incapable of because your cock lacked the grip it needed in order to give you the leverage that you required to pull that heavy weight. Whatever the task may be, or maybe you just want to toss around the old football using your cock, but again, lack the grip. Why? Cock wasn't pruny enough. If you leave your cock in a vagina for about 2 to 3 hours, I've found that you get ample amounts of pruniness on your cock, and this thing could last for hours, and you can actually do many beautiful tasks with it. So again, you're like, well, this is just the males. Males and females work together, okay? Whether you need an extra pair of hands or cock around the house to help you assist you with the house chores, well, now that cock can actually do stuff. Now it can pick things up properly without letting... How many times have beautiful, expensive Chinese vases have been dropped to the ground because a fella didn't have enough grip on his cock? Think about that. How many times did you assist somebody or attempted to assist somebody and help them get in or out of a chair when maybe they were the elderly and your cock didn't have enough grip on it? Well, next time, when you're assisting the elderly, make sure your cock is pruny enough to give you the grip it needs to be able to firmly hold people in place while they're getting up and or sitting down. Again, that's pruny cocks. You got to work together, come together, unite. People all around the world, sexes, both male and female, working side by side, allowing cocks to be more pruny than they already are. A beautiful Polish skier recently did something that may or may not be of interest to you, but I'll say that it's been on my radar. It caught my attention. I believe he's 37 years old. I forget, to be honest. Doesn't matter. But he's a Polish skier, and he just became the first person to climb Mount Everest and ski down using no bottled oxygen. That's right. This man just climbed the Everest and skied down with only the oxygen that he took with his lungs. He went all the way up slid all the way down, using no additional oxygen. And on the surface, it may seem like it's something innocent and fun and great to do, but the message, the underlying message it sends to people is a dangerous one. It says that you too can climb Mount Everest without using an oxygen bottle. You too can do whatever you want in this life. You too can climb up and instead of climbing back to ski down. Although he did it, is this the type of message that we want to send out there to all people? Just get up there and climb and ski your way down. You don't need extra oxygen. A few people attempted and maybe give up halfway through, but the rest continue to climb and they get up there. Next thing you know, people are finding themselves to be short of breath, finding it very difficult to breathe. Next thing you know, thousands upon thousands, perhaps even millions of people climb up and die on top of Mount Everest near the summit. Why? Because they saw one man climb up and ski without using an oxygen bottle. So although we might want to stand up or sit down and clap and say, congratulations, you beautiful Polska. Congratulations, you've done the impossible. You've gone beyond human limits and pushed yourself and have achieved something beautiful. But the message, the underlying message is that live life like a daredevil. Go out there and take risks. You don't need oxygen. The amount of oxygen you got in your lungs is plenty. The air isn't thin at the top. Get out there. He did it. Why can't you? These are perilous times. Of course, we must be very careful of what we highlight, what we show, what we celebrate together as one collective, one large species that is the human race. An individual achievement, yes. A dangerous message, also yes. Two things could be true at the same time. We can spit and swallow simultaneously. The next story I want to talk to you guys about, it caught my attention, and it is a concern. It's a big concern, and if it's happening in Polk County, which I believe is in Florida, it could be potentially happening all around us in every major city, in every major town, in every major state, in every major province, and everywhere really. Polk County, Florida. It's brought to my attention that the Sheriff Department, along with other law enforcement officers, have conducted a large-scale human trafficking and prostitution operation, and they've successfully captured 200 individuals. These individuals are posting images, advertising themselves, selling themselves for $1,000, $1,500 a night, portraying one image, saying that we're females, we're full-blown female prostitutes. Come have your way with us for $1,000, for a stack, for one G-note. Have an evening of fun. And you get there and it's dark, you can't really see what's up, and you're already stepping in a situation where things are a little bit murky, so you don't want to ask too many questions. You engage in the sexual activities, you wake up next morning, and apparently you wake up to a person who is not a woman. Indeed, after the booze and potential drugs have worn off, you see their wig on the side of the bed, and you look downstairs and notice that the giant pussy lips that was stuffed in your mouth was indeed a giant cock. But you were too busy and things were already heated, so you didn't want to ask any questions. But apparently there are a lot of these men out there who are pretending to be female prostitutes, who are giving female prostitutes a bad name, and they're ugly too. They're most of them, and I don't want to. This isn't a. We're not about shaming and or judge, but you know, if you're going to be charging, if you're charging $1,000 or $1,500 a night, and you say it's puss, but then it's pure cock. Some things need to change. So I'm glad to see that this is taking place. I'm glad to see that Sheriff Department in Polk County has taken initiative and has taken 200 people in. But there are more out there. So this is, I suppose, this is a PSA. Please do be careful out there. Check your prostitutes before engaging in sexual activities. Don't just go and take their word for it upon seeing one picture, especially with technology and people altering images online constantly. You never know what you're getting. Potentially brace yourself for a surprise. Get a sneak peek of the goods, if you will, if you can, prior to engaging for the full services. Because it's a shame. We need to make prostitution great. We need to make prostitution and hookers and whores what they used to be, and that is one of the oldest trades in the world, in the game, professions, one of the oldest professions. So we need to restore it back to its respectable state that it used to be. Reliable. You should know what you're getting. All right. Don't let ugly hookers and hoes ruin the experience for everybody else out there. Please, if you're charging $1,000 or $1,500, and there needs to be standards. There needs to be, you should get the puss that you paid for. Not be surprised by a pair of nuts on your forehead and the next morning. That's uncalled for. Some of them are legal, citizens, residents. Some of them are illegal, and that's another kick in the nuts there too. So taking jobs from local whores and prostitutes, beautiful local prostitutes who want to make it's not easy out there. Whatever we need to do, let's do it together in order to ensure that this does not go on. Let's nip it in the bud. I would suggest you, again, it goes back to the greeting. If you take the time to perhaps do a little bit of lick and flick, you could figure out if the individual you're actually seeing has a vagina or a cack, so you're not surprised the next day. What kind of message does that send out? If we're just letting anybody just call themselves a female prostitute and they're not a female prostitute, what kind of message does that send out to future generations? Prostitution is not a reliable source of companionship. You never know what you're gonna get. Back in the day, it might have been just a case of the clap. Now it's, you went in for puss, you got cock. You got cock breath, and you weren't prepared for that. That's a whole nother story that you're gonna have to tell yourself or others. And maybe you weren't prepared for that. So please do be careful out there. And let's make prostitution what it really should be, about human connections and companionship for a short period of time in exchange for money, professionally and sexually. Ladies and gents, what else is going on? This beautiful story caught my attention. I believe the lady's name is this bitch, what's her name? Charlie Javis versus JP Morgan. She is a young entrepreneur. She is now 33. Back in the day when she was not 30 yet, she was named on Forbes magazine's 30 under dirty, or dirty under dirty, or dirty under 30, the dirty 30s, the young and the young and the dirties. She created this company. I believe the company's name was Frank. It was set to assist in, I suppose, curating or handling the financial aid for low-income students, I guess loans for low-income students. When she sold the company to JP Morgan, she said that she had millions of users, somewhere around 4.25 million users. After JP Morgan and Chase and Co. and other things, after they purchased the company, they realized that the user number is much lower. It's around the 300,000 mark, and now they're suing her for fraud. Actually, I'm not sure if they're suing. I believe she got sentenced for 7 years. That's what I realized. She got sentenced to 7 years for fraud. And it caught my attention because, first of all, she's relatively young. She's not old. She is a female, which is another point that caught my attention. Most fraud, as far as I'm concerned, not to say that females don't do fraud, but you don't see fraud on this scale. I believe she is to get 7 years, and she has to compensate JP Morgan for roughly $200 million or something around that. It's a large number. $300 million, 170, 200 million. Let's just ballpark it there. Just to compensate JP Morgan for $200 million. I like to just take this time to say #free Charlie Javice or Javis. Although I'm not promoting fraud or fraudulent behavior, I like to say that this doesn't again happen in the female community on this scale as much. Let's give her, do your due diligence is one thing. I should say that as a seeker of business, as a seeker and buyer of businesses and or services or goods, do your due diligence. Now, did she perhaps fudge the numbers or, not tell the truth about her company's potential output? Maybe, of course, yes. But to put her in jail for 7 years, let's not waste another. I think the point was made. Obviously, if you're out there, don't do fraud. But also, low-key, a lot of things are built on fraud. Banking itself it's a good portion of it is fraud. So yeah, this is pure feelings, a little bit of facts, mostly feelings. I just felt like, titties, long hair, a go-getter. Let's not waste a life behind bars if we can. So #free Charlie Javis. Let's put her to use somewhere in the world. She's a businesswoman. She's an entrepreneur. She's got the go-getter attitude. Now, did she, do things a little bit, incorrectly? Maybe she did. All right. Let's not make a whole thing out of this, JP Morgan. All right. So let's all just maintain cool heads and realize what's at stake. And again, most of the fraud in the world is, big fraud, at least as, men do it, which is cool for men. I like, as a man, I'm proud to say we do a lot of things. But when I see a young lady, when I see this bitch out here just trying to make it so that she could, conduct a business, go out there and get large sums of money for herself, for her family, for her community, and yeah, 300,000 isn't exactly 4.25 million users, but it's not nothing either. All right, let's. Cut her some slack is all I'm trying to say. She didn't murder anybody. She didn't, in the banking world, with all the fees the banks have, how much are you guys constantly, if we want to really go over the books of how banking is done and this fee and that fee and, okay? It's a little bit of the old kettle calling the pot heavy. Calling this the kettle calls the pot, using landline phones. That's, it's the old kettle makes a phone call to the pot and says, hey, what's up? Using a landline. It's the old kettle calling the pot via satellite, from an underground bunker. It's a little bit just, let's not go there. Just saying, have another look at the case. 7 years is a little bit much, and like 200-300 million for compensate is a little bit much. All right, in my opinion, of course, mostly opinion. This one, a little bit of facts. Shout out to everybody out there. Tina Turner just got a statue, Brownsville, Tennessee. I mean, I loved Tina Turner. Still love Tina Turner, you know. It's the statue I'm not happy about. It's an ugly statue. I don't know who designed this statue. You know, thousands of years ago, we had people using only their hands and eyes to make statues of, you know, people. Beautiful. And we see that. We see the half a bust. We see a full bust of, you know, whatever, emperor or, you know, a general or whatever, or a singer or artist or whatever they had. You see these statues, they're beautiful, sculpted using simply hands and eyes, pure hand jobs. They were beautiful, but this statue and other statues similar to this one, they get propped up in cities, and some of these are, who's creating these ugly statues? With all the tech that we've got today, you could, you know, with the laser precision and the measure, you could take photos and, you know, outlines and 3D prints and all that jazz is out there. And we're getting these ugly ass statues. It's a why do we gotta do, you know, you done did Miss Turner dirty there. That's a little bit, you know, take it down, do it all over again, please. It's as if a gang of, it looks like a I don't even know what it looks like. It looks like a tranny Tina Turner. It doesn't look like Tina Turner. It looks like a man dressed as Tina Turner. It looks like as if it was created by a, you know, bunch of blind monkeys of the Prolapse Brotherhood, who happen to be on the, you know, 33rd degree, and they were recently maybe, you know, told that, you know, this is it, this is, you know, and then keep up the good work. Later, of course, still are going to find out there's maybe potentially more degrees or levels as this thing never ends. But nonetheless, a brotherhood of just, you know, prolapse monkeys, hence the brotherhood of the prolapse monkeys. So I don't know who designed it or who built it, but let's do Miss Turner right. Let's, you know, give her a new face, please. Please. God. What else is going on in and around the world? I believe in Botswana, a group of tourists went around to see a bunch of elephants and they got trampled. One of the females got pushed underwater for some time. Of course, I believe she's alive and okay, which is great. But this sends a message out to the human species that these elephants want to fuck around. Well, let's send the message back to the elephants that if you want to fuck around with the humans, well, nobody fucks around like we fuck around. So although this time the tourists took the beating and went down in the water, I suggest we gather ourselves up, dust ourselves off, and get back out there as tourists or even local residents. Do not let elephants push you around just because it happened because this sets a poor example of what we're willing to put up with. If you see an elephant attacking you or a loved one, charge at them. If they're coming at you, make yourself big. Go big. Go big. If they try to push you anywhere, you push back. This time it happened that they pushed the female underwater. Get back out there with a little bit of, you know, oomph, a little bit, you know, maybe take some resources with you, but push a couple of elephants in the water so that they get the message that we are not to be fucked with. Again, this happened in Botswana. But we are one large global family. It brings me nothing but heartache and Perhaps I wasn't able to sleep last night. Or maybe I slept like a baby after having masturbated to a couple of videos. Alright, maybe more than a couple of videos. You have to find what you like. But the point is, ladies and gentlemen, that this is unacceptable. In fact, should any animal out there, big or small, try to intimidate you and or push you around, as a human, we have the responsibility out there to represent each other. Whether it's a silverback gorilla, whether it's a python, whether it's a anaconda, whether it's a alligator or a crocodile or a chimpanzee, you push them. If they push, you push back. If they put you in the water and stomp on you, you put their baby in the water and you stomp on their baby. Not to, like, you know, don't kill them or anything, but to prove a point, okay? The big dogs are here for now. Let's not forget that. Let's not send the message that we're gonna just put up with it and not come back and hang out with the elephant. If we want to hang out with some elephants and take some pictures in a canoe, we will show up in a canoe and take some pictures. If we want to get close to the calves, we will get close to the calves. We will ride the calves. If we need to, we will ride the. They're elephant calves. They're quite strong. Okay. Point to other elephants who've had their tusks removed. Say, hey, just let them know. You know what I mean? Don't be a pushover is all I'm saying. Don't stand your ground, big or small. Initiate the attack first. If they come at you, you come right back. Come right back. If they show tusk, you show cock. If they show tusk, you show vag. And get big, like, you know, stay bloated. They say that. When it comes to endangered animals and or just dangerous animals in the wild, stay bloated and big. Indigestion helps. You know, just take a dump, take a huge shit right in front of them. Let them know what's up. You know, on site, just fucking right there, do 2 pounds of pure human fecal matter. Let them know what's up. Hold it in the palm of your hand and just shake it in their face and just make noises. And let them know what's up. They say that people like to go ahead and dance in the kitchen and enjoy a little bit of, you know, just a little bit of music and dancing in the kitchen. I just want to take this time to let you know that this is, the kitchen is actually one of the most dangerous rooms in the household. Please refrain from dancing in the kitchen. You never know what could go right or wrong. You'll say, oh, but plenty of people have danced in the kitchen and nothing has gone awry, nothing has gone wrong. I'm pretty sure I'm safe to go ahead and dance in my kitchen. I'll be just fine. Put my tunes on and dance in the kitchen. You say that now. You know what happens? You know what happens to people who just dance in the kitchen? 9 out of 10 times, sure, nothing goes wrong, but 20 out of 10 times, you misstep. You have happened to have been cooking and some grease has gone on the ground. Next thing you know, you're wearing socks, or worse off, no socks. Next thing you know, you slip and fall and hit your head and fall to the ground, concussed, shattered hip, broken spine. You are now a quadriplegic thanks to dancing in the kitchen. Sure, it's been glorified, it's been romanticized in movies and Hollywood. That's what they love to depict. People just having a good time in the kitchen, not showing the horrors, ladies and gentlemen, that await you. A knife through the hand, an accident with the blender. Think about that. Running extremely hot water over your wrist when you weren't prepared or looking or paying attention. Oh, the burn on your wrist. How will you cope? You can't. Your family will leave you because you shrieked and you yelled and they saw that maybe, hey, this burn on his or her wrist has shown us plenty. No, I'm dancing in the kitchen. You get caught up, distracted, leaving your baby, unattended baby. Where's the baby? oh, I don't know, in the balcony about to fucking fall off. If you're lucky, there's a big shipment of pillows come into the building and your baby happens to fall in a big shipment of pillows. But 7 out of 97 times, there aren't any shipping companies that are sending pillows to the building, and your baby falls splat right there, flat right there. I'm like, where's your baby? Your baby's dead. Dead baby. Because you wanted to just dance in the kitchen. You're busy dancing in the kitchen right now. Oh, the house is on fire, but you're too busy having a good time. Next thing you know what? Your whole entire house is burned to a crisp, but you didn't notice because you were dancing in one of the most dangerous rooms in the household, which is the kitchen. So please, take good care out there. Be careful, and do not just get caught up in these images that get depicted on television or social media as something that's seemingly safe and fun for everybody, where death could be around the corner. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, peace out.